Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Dina. Today we will continue inshallah the story of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam in Al-Sham and Egypt. Are you ready for the story? Okay, let's go hear it and enjoy it. We stopped last week when Ibrahim and Lut alayhim salam were heading to Al-Sham and they stopped at the land of Harran. The people of Harran were not idol worshippers, yet they used to worship the sun, moon, stars, and planets. So one day Ibrahim alayhi salam went to the people of Harran and he told them, "Let us try and worship this Lord of yours." So when the night grew dark, he saw a star, so he said, "This is my Lord." But when it set, he wondered where the Lord has gone. Then he saw a bright moon rising, so he said, "This one is my Lord. It looks bigger and brighter." But when the moon disappeared, he told the people, "If my Lord doesn't guide me, I will certainly be one of the losers." When Ibrahim alayhi salam saw the sun shining bright and large compared to the moon, he said, "This must be my Lord. It is the biggest I have seen so far." But again, when it set, he declared to the people of Haran, "O my people, I totally reject whatever you associate with Allah in worship. Verily, I have turned my face toward the one who has created the heavens and the earth. I am not one of those who associate other gods with Allah." The people started arguing with him, so he said, "Why should I fear your gods when I have Allah with me? You are the ones who should be afraid." Yet no one believed in him except for Sarah, who became his wife. Then he took her and left the land of Haran. Ibrahim alayhi salam went to Egypt with his wife Sarah. As for Lut alayhi salam, he migrated to the Dead Sea and he settled there. The news reached the king of Egypt at the time that there was a man who was accompanying the most beautiful woman that was ever seen. They were referring to Sarah radiallahu anha. The evil king wanted to take Sarah, so he ordered his soldiers, saying,
Go and ask the man what is his relationship with this beautiful woman, and if he says that he is her husband, then kill him, and bring her to me at once. I want her for myself.
When Ibrahim alayhi salam knew about what the king wanted, he turned to Sarah radiallahu anha and he told her, "There isn't a single believer on this land except for me and you. So when these people come to you and ask you, 'Who am I to you?' tell them, 'I'm your brother.'" Ibrahim alayhi salam meant that he was her brother in Islam and faith. So when the soldiers came to Sarah radiallahu anha and asked her, "What's your relationship with this man?" she answered, "He's my brother." So they took Sarah to meet the king. When Sarah radiallahu anha went to the king's palace, he was struck by her beauty. So the tyrant king tried to place his hand on her. So she made a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect her from him. And suddenly the king's hand became stiff and he couldn't move it. The king was so scared and he told Sarah, "Ask your God to heal me and I will leave you alone." Sarah was afraid that if he died, the people will say that she killed him. So she made a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to heal him and his hand started moving again. He tried to take hold of her for the second time, and his hands got stiff again. So he asked Sarah to pray for him again, and his hand was released. But he tried to take hold of her for the third time, and the same thing happened. So he told her, "If you release me for the third time, I will let you go." and I will be generous with you. Sarah radiallahu anha made a dua for the third time. So the king kept his promise this time and he did let her go. He felt she wasn't an ordinary lady, that's why he gave her one of his best servants, who was a good, decent lady called Hajar. Sarah went back to Ibrahim alayhi salam, so the Prophet asked her what happened. She told him that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has protected her from the evil king and that he gave her a maid called Hajar. Ibrahim alayhi salam then realized that they must leave Egypt at once. So he decided to migrate from Egypt to Palestine and he took Sarah and Hajar along with him. When Ibrahim alayhi salam migrated to Palestine, he started working there. And as time passed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him great wealth. Years and years passed by, and Ibrahim alayhi salam and Sarah grew old. During those long years, Ibrahim alayhi salam used to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and beg him to grant him a child. But Ibrahim alayhi salam didn't have any children. He continued to call people to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he continued to deliver his message. When Sarah realized that she would no longer give birth to a child, she asked Ibrahim alayhi salam to marry her maid Hajar. Then she prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless them with a child. After a few months, Hajar gave birth to a baby boy and they called him Ismail. By now, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam had grown very old. One day, the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came to Ibrahim alayhi salam to take Hajar and baby Ismail to a valley in the desert. Ibrahim alayhi salam called Hajar and told her, "Prepare yourself and the baby for a long journey." Ibrahim alayhi salam took his wife Hajar with the baby in her arms and they kept traveling for a long time. They walked for many days till they reached a dry valley in the desert near Al Marwa mountain. There were no houses, no trees, no food, no water, and no signs of any life in this valley. Do you want to know what will happen with Hajar and baby Ismail? Wait for me next week, inshallah, in part 3, which will be the last part of our awesome story. I was so happy to be with you, my friends. Please do not forget to share the story and subscribe in the channel. See you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.